fellow evaluators, fellow Toastmasters, especially our guests. I'll set the stage for what our evaluation team will be focusing on and give Jon feedback. I'll stand and do that. And you'll notice, as with the first team, we sit during these team evaluations so that we can be physically at the same level as our speaker, and so we can facilitate more of a conversation. That's how we conduct our evaluation. So it's differently from what you might do in your regular club. During our pre-meeting with Jon this morning, he gave us some of his personal objectives. So we've taken the objectives from the speech manual and we'll tie them into his personal objectives. I'll be the first evaluator. I'm going to focus on the physical aspect of Jon's speech, any nervousness that was shown or maybe wasn't shown. And then I'll turn it to Carol. She's going to focus on the organization of Jon's speech, the opening, the closing, the transitions, and how his material fit together that way. And then Steve's going to close with the impact of his speech. How did the humor, the different techniques of humor that Jon used, hit Steve as an evaluator, and what did he observe in the audience? So, Big Bad Jon. I was thinking of that song as you began your speech, focusing on your body and your looks, and then as you shared the material with us. In fact, I was thinking that the dating life in the 50s, Big Bad Jon. I want to compliment you on how you showed your emotions in your speech today. First, using the physical aspects of yourself as props, that self-deprecating humor, the gray hair, the body shape, the fingers that can learn to type, the massive fingers, I forget which word to use for that. But that's excellent technique to set the stage and to use humor for yourself, which is the word I like that. You stood well from someone with the martial arts training that you have, so when you stood in place, you had good speaker posture that I talked about before, people planted in the right place. So from that standpoint, you took control of the stage and didn't show any nervousness. And I was watching very closely because I know you wanted us to give feedback on that. I would say the one time when you would show more of that nervous energy, and you actually did a great technique is you kept your arms here mostly when you weren't engaging them in specific motion, so that was a good technique. But you had this rock'em sock'em robot thing going here, doom, 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 doom. So just something to note, because what I usually do is, I do way up here when I talk, as you watch now. So it's something that you can look for from that standpoint. I want to especially note also the good timing of your props. Now what some people tend to do is they'll rush them out there and they'll throw them or display them at the wrong time. You have excellent timing, so you would say the words to set up, throw the yellow flag. I could wave the towel and surrender. You did an excellent job of that, Jon. I really want to compliment you on that. And I cherish seeing that because that's something I'm trying to work on myself, so thank you for modeling that behavior. I want to see you use the full stage next time. So that might be another way you showed nervousness. I know you want to be near your water prop, and we'll talk about that. But you have, so if you want to stay here, in the lectern or in a bad place, I know you needed it, but then purposely move over here and face there as you speak from time to time too. And then another piece, I want to talk about your facial expressions. You showed angst, quizzical, you're squinting your eyes and all of that. But occasionally when you're dumping on yourself, you're doing self-deprecating humor, give us that big smile. A body like this, that's that big smile that gets us to just hee-haw and really laugh with you because you did a great job with that. I'm going to close with how you use the water. Did you all notice that?
Yeah.
While you ponder, let me take a drink while you ponder. I don't do that on purpose. That was perfect. So that was great technique in getting the water that you needed. Put your thoughts together, gave us a laugh moment on it. We'll get into Carol's territory, but I like the physical aspect of when you grabbed your water and how you got us to get ready for that. So overall, what you showed me was you're enthusiastic about the topic. Expand your emotion a little bit, and it's going to be a fabulous speech to take into it. Mercy contest. Thank you, Jon.
Thank you, Jon. The title of the project is Keep Them Laughing, and you really did. You kept us laughing the whole time. It was wonderful. I had a page full of all the things that you said, but I was like, she kept track of them, and I went, ooh, that was very funny, and it connected with it. So you began with, have you ever looked in the mirror and seen someone different? Which is something that everyone in the room can relate to. I thought that was very good because we might not all be people in our 50s dating, but we're all looking in the mirror and going, ooh, When did my hair turn gray? The speech, it tied together well. I didn't see any real breaks in terms of the flow. That when you said something, it was something that was funny, and it followed from the thing that was before it. So it internally just went very smoothly, and from left to left, I loved a lot of the things that you said. So you for example, said we've been to Oz and we've seen the As with Keith, I liked the way you worked in the water, because it was a way of bringing it in without breaking up the speech. It worked well. So given the need to have the water up there, that was a good way of working it. One thing I would look at is the ending, which went fairly quickly. So two things. One is always what works to bring the ending back to the beginning. So if you can bring it back to looking in the mirror, that would signal to us, oh, it's the ending because he's returning to the beginning, and it also ties in. Or some sort of call to action that, again, not all the audience is going to be dating, but if you look around, you go, yeah, we have an audience that's in the 40s to 60s. We're all with you on this one. One thing I'd like to hear more about is just plain specific dating, because you mentioned approaching dating, but I didn't hear anything about meeting any specific person. And if you're just starting out with trying to meet someone, that would also be an appropriate thing to mention. And then I would go, oh, wait, come on, let's hear about people. All in all, it was a very, very strong speech. I loved it. I laughed the whole time. And you impressed me a lot with your creativity and energy.
Jon, first of all, congratulations on your courage to give that kind of speech to this group. I think if there was any nervousness on your part, it really was not evident as you launched right into your lines about the gray hair. I was with you. Good self-deprecation. And I liked what you did when you talked about missing clues and thinking they were smart. You brought it to a gender. I think we could connect on both sides. That was really fun. All this in personality too. I think that I was trying to look for any places that might have been tedious or complex and hard to follow. And I didn't really, I was listening actively for that, and I didn't really pick up those kinds of things. There, you were using the rule of three occasionally. We had these sort of three options, places to go, and then children become adults, and so they're showing up at those places. So it was okay to follow to going to church and the romantic relationship at work, which could be to manage. And I think that was after those three, each of those had its own fun little bit with it. I think that's where your first pause with the water. I'm not sure if I got that right. I think it was. I thought, wow, I've never seen that done so well like that in this speech, to reach for the water. And I thought it was a very good reflection time, nicely done. The second time it happened, it went a little long. And I thought, okay, so how many times are we going to have this water thing? But it was very well done. The second pause was maybe a little, but again, I congratulate you on having the courage to step out and do something that I haven't seen it done that effectively before. So very, very well done. A lot of the other points have been covered. I was thinking towards the end that you sort of morphed into this online world of getting to meet people, and I think the sausage thing is a good word. So it was sitting at a keyboard, and as if you were saying, it would be good to hear a few specifics about some of the people. There's lots of opportunity there to talk about what some of the interactions might actually be like. That's what I have for you. And again, I just really am impressed that you did this kind of talk on Valentine's Day. Well done. I think we open it up to you.
Thank you, Steve. And now, Jon, you have a a minute to share your feedback on our comments.
Thank you kindly for feedback. Sometimes you have to face the biggest fear, and that was kind of part of the reason why I did this. The water thing, that just happened to work. That was totally improv because the one thing they don't tell you is as you get older, sometimes weird things happen. I don't know why, but for about the last 9 months to a year, I could go speak at Toastmasters, and then about 9 months ago, all of a sudden, I'd be like, almost like an anxiety or panic thing, and my mouth would just get real dry. It was like the very first time I competed as a black belt in a fight, and I went, what is this all about? So I've been trying to be a little creative with how I can do that. Letting you ponder was basically because there was a point at the end where the speech did not go the way it was planned, and I have to take responsibility for that. Sometimes I fight technology, kicking and screaming. I've kind of been able to live in the woods, so to speak, with minimal type stuff. So, but nonetheless, there was going to be music playing in the background that would have given an image of a person that is struggling with the dating, and then the person going, okay, no, I'm not going to fall for this dating thing, and then fight through it. Thank you.
And our audience would have up to 2 minutes for you to share some positives or alternatives for success for John next time he gives this speech. I want to start with 2 or 3 guests, if we could go with that since we have so many guests. Who wants to share some feedback? Yes, go ahead.
Hey, John, I think you did a great delivery of the dry humor. You're natural. But I would throw in a few smiles, especially like the beginning. I knew you did smile, so I'm just saying, but when you first begin the speech, you did connect with the audience, but that's when I would have wanted more of a smile. But that could be just me, but facial expressions a little bit more there, but usually that dry humor, that really works with, not so much of a facial expression, but just I would throw in a sprinkle and a few more facial expressions.
Thank you.
Thanks, other guests? Mary?
John, I want to give you compliments. You did a great job. He shared with me beforehand that he was nervous giving his speech. It's his first one, it's Saturday Morning Live, and I said, John, you'd be just great. I knew you were going to be just great because I've seen how you have grown as a Toastmaster in the last year. Because I know John before in another club, and I've really seen how he has developed, and this is a wonderful testimony how you have grown in your Toastmaster journey. Great, great puns on the dating theme. It can be imparted to us women that are out there thinking, maybe we should find a guy in our life, And we had great 1 minute, great uplift. Their speeches that kept us laughing. Most of us were roaring on the floor laughing. It was so great. And I like that pun, how you brought in that water bottle. Do that. Wonderful job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. How about one more guest that hasn't spoken today? Jane.
John, I've never met you before, and I'm new to Saturday Morning Live, so thank you all for having me. I came up to you after the speech, as you know. One of the things that I appreciated was I was laughing from the beginning when you started. As a woman in her 50s who also is dating, I can tell you that I totally identified with you. So it wasn't a male-female thing, it was like, seriously? Right? And what I liked is you just kept the humor going. So you said, man, the sausage fingers, I get it, the online OMG, I've done that, that's a little scary, right? But you kept me engaged through the whole thing. That I really appreciated. You also did have humor throughout the whole thing. And just so you know, on Valentine's Day, your gift is that you're not alone, and we are all gifts, and you are just a blessing and beautiful the way you are. So celebrate that, as all of us do. And I think the other thing is to remember that if we can't laugh at ourselves, what's the point, right? So with that, thank you for giving me that blessing today. It was a great job.
Thank you. Time within 2 minutes, Rose? Yes. Okay, all right. So our time together has come to a close. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, John.